Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Breakthrough Blueprint, where we talk to entrepreneurs about all the biggest struggles they've overcome and how they became successful today. And I have with me my amazing friend, Akram, and I'll hand it over to him to introduce himself.
Thank you so much, Mel, for having me on. My name is Akram. I run an agency called The Intentional Few. We partner with a very select few brands in the info product world, even in the health and regenerative medicine world as well. And we help them scale their client acquisition through paid ads. Outside of that, I also run a community of entrepreneurs called the International Breakfast Club. We host monthly meetups for entrepreneurs to connect, collaborate, and have fun on this journey growing together.
Amazing. And I know that you've done a ton of different coaching. You've had different businesses of your own, worked in other people's businesses. Like, how did you get started?
Yeah, back in 2019, I just dropped out of university. My first entrepreneurship stint was helping a friend grow their e-commerce brand. And we had to learn paid advertising because just trying to rank and sell on Amazon was its own mission. And so I remember we took a digital marketing course and that business essentially crumbled. My friend who was the founder just no longer wanted to keep running it. And so I was left with a skill set that I realized many people need, which is lead generation and paid advertising. So that led me to starting my first agency with that same friend, and also leverage my sales skills at the time. I was in sales to also go and sell clients on our services. So that was my first real time that I made any money online.
That's awesome. And at what point did you drop out of school, and what was that decision making process like?
Yeah, it was very easy, very simple. I made it a few weeks into my freshman year at university. And I just realized like waking up for 8 a.m. history class or biology class was not for me. So I ended up skipping most of my morning classes. And then I was like, why am I paying $12,000 a semester? I spent most of my high school savings from my own pocket on the first semester. And so I was like, what's my plan for semester two? Never mind years two, three, and four. And I didn't want to take student loans. So I was like, you know what? This is just not it for me. So I went into the workforce right away, mainly sales. And yeah, I dropped out like 2 months in.
That's amazing that you were able to make that decision at such a young age because it seems like, we've known each other for about 3 years now or so. And it seems like you've been super successful from super like young. So that's very inspiring to see. And then, so after that, what was your next step, or how did you end up starting your agency that you're currently running today? Were there other jobs that you were working?
Yeah. The current agency that we run is a compilation of everything I've learned over the last 4 years, I would say. Before this, I had an agency called Strategic Growth Partners, where we also partner with coaches and community leaders to scale their high ticket products and services. That led me to burning out. I felt like we were just working with any type of person that would pay us, and they weren't very exciting to work with. And I got the opportunity to my business partner bought me out and I got the opportunity to go work at a friend's agency at Bad Marketing. And there was working with some of the top info products in the US. I mean, the guys that have millions of followers online, was managing over $1 million a month in ad spend at certain points, really creating marketing strategy for some of the biggest names in the space. That
Mhm.
really taught me a lot about professionalism, about structure, about systems, operations, team leadership, all the sort of stuff that I was missing in my smaller agency at the time. After that, I went into coaching one on one, dozens of agency owners on scaling their business. And that led me to now building the intentional few, where we're really built on the ethos of like less is more. And every person we hire, every client we partner with, every strategy that we roll out is very intentional and it's intended to maximize the results for our clients and the impact as well. And so I would say we're still newer with this agency. We're about 2 months in, but it's been going really well.
That's amazing. Wow, I didn't know that you worked at Bad Marketing. Um, that's really, really cool. So how long did you say you were working there again?
Close to a year.
And so you were an account manager running people's ads?
I was a strategist there, creating strategy and running my own team,
Mhm.
whereas account managers are really just client relationship. I
Okay.
was conducting the strategy, and then under me had a team of media buyers, copywriters, funnel and tech builders, and automation specialists, and a full creative team as well. So I really got to do what I love, which is audit people's businesses when they come in, audit their offers, audit their current sales and marketing metrics, audit everything that they have, and create a strategy to increase their revenue, and then
Mhm.
really lead my team to help execute that.
Wow. That's awesome. So, did you get to work with Eddie, like, on a daily basis personally, or
I'd say like weekly, bi-weekly, Eddie with 200 people has many other departments to oversee and also has other side businesses that he's building as well. Eddie's a very busy person, but yeah, having that intimate like access to him as well as just friendship, I was with him on Sunday, and just that friendship more than anything has taught me a lot.
Mhm.
Seeing someone operate at such a high level and lead a team has been really eye-opening.
Definitely. Yeah, that's awesome. Great to have a role model like that. Wow. So, I have so many different questions now, but I guess Um, for people who aren't familiar with how to do paid ads or they're scared to spend that much money, because I'm not an expert in paid ads, I'm learning a lot more about cold email and ads, and what we focused on in my agency is more LinkedIn lead generation for both inbound and outbound, built an automation that helps people do that. But for people who aren't familiar, like, what is the process of setting up ads and like the testing phase, and how much money do you need to sort of put down before you start seeing results?
Yeah, what people need to understand about paid ads is it's a prediction machine that is being fed data to learn and understand who your ideal customers are. And once it does, it gets really good at finding more of those people because Facebook, out of all advertising platforms, has the most data on its users. And so, what people think or mistakenly think is like, I just need to put in money and make money back out. And so they forego this understanding in the beginning that really it's about acquiring data to better build the machine. And so in the beginning, um, you know, we recommend spending at least a few $1,000s your first month to really test enough creatives and understand what's working. But don't expect to see a direct ROI on that first 1,000 or 2,000 if you've never ever run ads before. It's like playing the trumpet for the first time and pretending that you're going to be professional, right? When you have the system dialed and we have a lot of data, yeah, we can expect to see returns on every 1,000 or 2,000 that we spend. But in the beginning, we're really building a machine that understands who your ideal customer is, AKA meaning who's resonating with the ads we're running, who's clicking through, who's actually taking the actions and converting. Once it has enough of those results, it starts to essentially sync all the common characteristics between all those people that did convert and say, okay, based on these 52,000 data points, there's 300 that seem to be very similar across every single lead. Let's go find more people that have these 300 traits, and Meta will go find those people for you.
That's amazing. I've never heard it explained that way. Clearly, you're a great teacher too. I could tell that when you say you've managed a team, like, I'm sure you're great at teaching people, giving instructions, and I really appreciate that. I'll probably have to reach out to you now when I need help or send you some clients. But that's
I
amazing. And I'm seeing that more people are using AI to generate ads that they can test. How have you utilized AI in your work?
Yeah, I was just on a call with a friend that said the amount of ads created by Sora that she's seeing is insane. Now, I'll be honest, we have yet to see AI ads outperform human ones.
Hmm,
As much as
interesting.
I feel like it's possible now to clone certain people, and this is also contextual for whoever's listening. Like if you're just running image ads for an e-commerce brand, it's very different than video ads for a high ticket product or service. So when it comes to like high ticket products and services, it's still very human to human based. There's a lot of trust that goes in with someone handing you $10,000. So when it comes to that, it's been very hard to create AI ads because this market's also very sophisticated. They don't want to listen to an AI clone talking about how to learn this new skill that's going to increase your business's revenue, right? They want to hear it from the storyteller themselves, which is the human. Now, we are testing this with a telehealth stem cell company where they have cloned the business owners because they're doctors, they're not really the best on camera, and they don't have the bandwidth to film a lot of content. And so we've cloned them and we're able to now produce ads on the fly that are very close to real and they've been performing all right. But
Mhm.
again, I have not seen enough spend with AI ads to really compare. I'm basing this off of like 5 to $10 million in spend off of human ads. And I don't have $5 to $10 million in spend on AI ads yet. So I
Mhm.
can't really draw conclusive data, but we really bias still to human ads.
So, what is your ideal client profile and who do you like enjoy working with the most?
Yeah, we work with companies doing close to a million, if not over. They have been around for about a year already to have a proven offer that can sell to cold market. They have at least one or two sales reps to be able to handle more volume of leads.
Mhm.
And really, it's more the character type. Like the business owner has to be mission driven, not just want to scale their business to make more money. Be very coachable, be very good on camera, very willing to take action fast. And I feel like it's rare to find all of those in one. But when we do, that's like a perfect grand slam to knock it out of the park with.
Interesting. Yeah, that is a lot of requirements. But it seems like you have found, a handful of people who do fit the bill. So that's really great. What are some of the biggest struggles that you've overcome personally or helped your clients overcome?
Most of this game is mental, it's spiritual, I feel like as well. I wouldn't come on here and say like, I have things figured out or I have the most bulletproof mindset because I feel like every evolution of our business or our journey requires a new level of us. And we come to realize things that we have not seen before as obstacles. And so I'm noticing like the biggest challenge for me compared to when I was first getting started is now I don't really notice progress very fast. It's one of my biggest challenges. And so for me personally, someone on the other end could be like, man, at 24, you've seen and done a lot. You've traveled, you've made money, you've lost money, you've met some really incredible people. And it's just a little bit numb for me. Like I don't really have emotion tied to that. I can look back and say, yeah, I had a really cool journey, but I don't feel like the sense of fulfillment of like, yes, I really achieved what I wanted. I feel like I'm actually far from that. So that's my own struggle, but it's something like that with a lot of clients. It's usually a mental block that either is preventing them from charging more for their prices or for their offers and services. It's either a block that's really preventing them from being the leader that they need to be for the rest of their team. It's a scarce mentality of like investing in marketing and advertising and team building. It's usually a manifestation of something internally that is preventing them from doing what they need to. And so, if ironic to say, more than a marketing agency, the transformation we deliver for our clients is also a very personal one. Where, like, if you compare one of our clients now compared to 2, 3 years ago when we first met them, it's like an entirely different person.
Interesting. Wow. I love that, you're talking about mindset and limiting beliefs and probably going back to the way people were raised because you and I are both, from immigrant families. And I definitely grew up with a scarcity mentality. And it has taken me a long time to get over that. And I still have to check myself when I'm, looking at prices on things or like, I'm trying to find a good deal because like you want to have that abundance mindset, especially when you're building a business and in all areas of life, knowing that like you're going to receive everything that you want as long as you put that work behind it. But so then how do you help your clients overcome those limiting beliefs? Is it just through coaching and encouragement?
Yeah, I'd say I feel one of the things I'm best at is asking questions. Like, it's all I feel like I can really do to help someone see something that they don't currently see.
Hmm.
And it's really all coaching is I'm poking away at the thing that I see in them in different ways until they really see what I'm trying to get at. Because it doesn't work the same when I just come on a call. I'm like, dude, you're really not showing up as a leader. Like your sales team has no idea what they're doing, and you're just out here avoiding the responsibility you need to have. Or it doesn't hit the same when I just say that. But if I really ask questions in a right way and they see like, man, yeah, how can I expect Susie to be the best closer when I haven't even checked in with her once this week?
Hmm.
And so I'd say that's what we really do. A lot of times clients also need to be heard. Like we had a client unfortunately get in a really sticky situation this week traveling. They got robbed and like it threw off all of the content production we needed for that week for
Mhm.
ads. It delayed timelines and it put him in a very bad mental place where he's just like shameful with guilt, like thinking he's stupid for getting in that position. Now timelines are delayed. Now Christmas is around the corner. Now, instead of launching ads this week, it's like the project gets pushed out till New Year's because of the holidays coming up. So it really messed things up. And I feel like I couldn't really do anything. I was a little frustrated and pissed off. Like, but I realized, man, I just need to have compassion. And at the end of the day, they're paying us for a service. Like I can do my best, but clients are paying us. We're not forcing them to do anything.
Mhm. Gotcha. Yeah, actually, a friend of mine in Colombia had the same thing happen to him less than a week ago, and it's like it's just one of those things. It's and life will throw you curveballs, and it really is about how you pick yourself up and move on and trying to be as positive as possible. But that's I'm sure it's been great for him to have you guys as a support system through all of this, and even though things are delayed. But how do you personally like whether it's like mental health fitness routine, like how do you make sure that you're able to get back on track and then show up as your best self for your clients?
Yeah, this has changed over the years. It's something I'm also refining on an ongoing basis. Recently, I've come back to my faith and my religion that I grew up with. I grew up in a Muslim family, very traditional, prayed 5 times a day most of my childhood. And then I really veered away from that. And I started going down my own spiritual path years later and got into meditation and personal development and breath work and whatever. And I came back to the conclusion the last like 6 months that, man, I already had this as a foundation and I kept looking for like something else. And so I just started praying recently. Again, like came back to my faith. I pray 5 times a day now, pretty consistently. And that is the number one thing that grounds me because before going into a meeting or before going to the gym or after dinner or before bed or in the morning, like there's structured times in my day where I take 5 minutes, I pause what I'm doing and I go pray. And in that time where I slow things down, I really reflect on like, man, I'm feeling really anxious right now. Like, why is that? Or I'm feeling like I really want this thing to go through well. Okay, let me like pray, let me let go, and it's way more beneficial to have 5 times a day than just one time in the morning. And then you forget about whatever higher power you believe in the rest of the day.
Definitely. Love that. Yeah, I grew up in a Christian family, and while I'm not religious, definitely believe in the power of prayer and having a spiritual practice. And I think it falls into that ecosystem of meditation and breath work and feeling connected to source. And I love that. It's also great, like, just because I know the support system that you have, your brother, Yusuf, like the people that you surround yourself with, the most closely are amazing people. And it was actually Yusuf who persuaded me to go to Creator Hub, which is the reason why I have this podcast.
Wow.
So, yeah, just it's amazing how, these little things, just a simple conversation, a word of encouragement, because he actually checked me on my scarcity mindset at first. 'Cause I was like, oh, it's like $1,000 for the VIP ticket. Am I even gonna like benefit from this? I'm not even sure what I'm doing with my content. And he just like encouraged me and gave me his positive, take on the whole thing, and he was right, and I was like, "You're right, like, I'm just gonna book the hotel, I'll buy the ticket right now," and I'm so glad that I did because it made me realize and I had been through other conferences before, not necessarily ones that were focused on the business of content creation and, like, personal branding and everything, but I went into that conference with an open mind and with the intention of trying to of figuring out, like, how do I monetize my social media? How do I become more focused? And then it worked, like, just being intentional, listening to people with that frame, it made me realize how there were so many people on those stages that there wasn't a really big difference between them and me, not necessarily in work ethic or intelligence or anything like that. It was just that they had much more time of being consistent. And so it sort of like, it was so impactful on me that like before we started recording, I was telling you the biggest takeaways that I got were that I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to start treating content creation like a job and make it that habit. Because I had sort of struggled with it before, like figuring out what is my brand? Am I a travel influencer or lifestyle? And then I realized that's way too saturated, first of all. And it wasn't it's a part of my passion, but it wasn't truly what I wanted to bring to the world. And ever since I started being consistent about everything over the last like 3 or 4 months now, everything has changed. Opportunities have come to me. I gained confidence because I realized, like, yes, I am who I say I am. I do the things, fulfill the commitments that I make to myself and to others. Because we were sort of debriefing about it with our group afterwards, like what everyone's takeaways were, and just being able to tell people, like, I'm going to do these things and follow through on them. It's been really rewarding and fulfilling to me. And then to see you guys, what you've been doing, seeing Yusuf, how dedicated and on top of his work that he's been in. Like, I haven't even been able to get him on the podcast because he's been working so much, but it's just inspiring to have those people in your circle and your community who are on the same wavelength, who are encouraging and supportive, and are willing to answer questions and help you out whenever needed.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm super glad that you've really followed through on this because watching that transformation, I can see how fulfilling it is for you. Someone told me this quote that I really like, which is like, it goes in with show me your five closest friends, right? And you're the average, but specifically around content. He's like, you look around your five closest friends, how many of them make content all the time? And at the time, I was like, none really. None of them have a big following. And I was like, oh, duh, makes sense why I don't either. And he told me like, look at my five closest friends. All of us have big YouTube followings. And so he's like, you're wondering, how do you grow on YouTube? Just look at who you surround yourself with. Are they all making content on YouTube? And that was a really big reflection as well because I find that being around guys like Yusuf, being around some of my other friends who make content all the time, when I'm around them, I naturally make more content. When I'm not around them, I allow myself to just like go hide in the shadows.
Yeah, I love that, and I've never heard that specifically around content, but that is a really good point. And just speaking about community, I know that you're organizing these events, the International Breakfast Club. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, this is an interesting one because I would say I'm 2 years in, and what no one knows is even now, it still feels like I don't know where I'm taking this thing. I think that's one of the hardest things as like a creator of anything and a community leader is it really falls on me as a leader to set the vision of where we're going. It's a community that I started 2 years ago with the intention of bringing together entrepreneurs to connect and collaborate and have fun in the process. And it's as simple as a monthly breakfast, but in a way that's very intentional from the people we seat you at to the exercises that we take you through to the food that's very nutritious and delicious and the vibe and the atmosphere of where we do it. All of it's very intentional to create transformation. And the value, I've had one person even tell me, like, the relationships they made in the room are worth millions because he cannot even buy them. And so it's like we've delivered that level of value to people. My vision has always been to make these chapters around all the entrepreneur hubs of the world international because people like myself, people like you, maybe we travel to these other cities. You go from Medellin to Miami, you go from Miami to Lisbon, to Madrid, to Barcelona, to Bali, wherever you go, and you have to start the same thing over again, which is where do I find a vetted community of people that think and believe the same things as me? So I figured, can I inspire people through our community to take this community with them when they
Mhm.
go to Madrid? Would there be someone that wants to start a chapter there? And we validated that some people are interested in that. It's just been a thing that falls back on me, which is like, where do I ultimately want to take this? And since we've done it for free for the last few years, the biggest challenge has been overcoming this belief of it's worth charging a monthly fee for because that's I feel like the only way that will really grow is if someone's paying to be part of it so we can have the revenue to operate it.
Definitely. Yeah, I completely understand those growing pains or those different phases and decisions that you have to make because there are, especially in Medellin, there are a variety of different networking groups, and that community is very, involved, which I love. And you and I should talk about me starting an Austin chapter, but I think that would be really cool. But yeah, I think, in-person events is something that I've always been thinking about more, because people are really hungry for connection and just like making friends at the very least with like-minded people. Even better if you can help each other with referrals or do business and build something together. So I really, really love that. Then I guess what are you most excited for next year, whether it's in your personal, professional life?
Yeah, first, I'm very excited to really get into the best shape of my life. It's something that I say year after year, and every year I feel better than the year before, but I still don't feel where I can be. So I think that's been the biggest priority is my health. Second is the business, the agency. Like the agency for me has never been a business that I see forever. It's been a learning ground to really build an amazing team, refine certain skill sets when it comes to sales, marketing, leadership, communication, get amazing results, and then use that as a vehicle to move on to the next thing, which ultimately for me is not 100% in stone, but it looks like a combination of a few things. Grow the community, put more effort there, and really turn that into a recurring revenue model. Use my agency to also build my brand, my personal brand with content. And then the third thing I'm really excited to learn about is acquiring businesses. Like, how do I go and strategically buy or invest into pieces of businesses that already cash flow that I could then use my agency to scale? And so it's one of those three in the order that they'll take priority, we'll find out. I definitely feel like there's work to be done before I get to that point.
Gotcha. Well, I think one of the first things I said to you when I saw you after 3 years was, "You look great." Did you get a personal trainer? So I could definitely see that you're making a lot of progress, which is awesome. And another thing that I forgot to ask earlier is I know that you're saying, the video ads, or filming actual videos still perform better than AI. With the people that you're working with, are you also encouraging them to, do their own YouTube videos, post on Instagram, like, create that ecosystem of content?
We always do. One of the criteria we look for is they already have a personal brand. Like none of our clients that come in
Mhm.
have nothing because it
Okay.
makes paid ads a lot better. So, example, yesterday we spoke to someone that's a potential client and they have 95,000 followers organically and 10,000 on another page. That person is significantly easier to help get results than the person that has like nothing. So it's usually a requirement. I just didn't think about it, but we don't really get into the organic strategy side. It just becomes too much of we're trying to do too many things and we're all believers in like intentionality. What's the most important thing? If someone got to 95,000 followers, they know a lot more about organic than I do, right? So we don't really talk to them about how to do what they already have done good better. We talk about how to do something they're not doing better.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'm sure it does help working with people that already have a brand. Because yeah, I've been working with people who on LinkedIn for the same thing with our automation. It works way better if you've been posting, if you have more detail about your just work history, but some people will come to us and all they have is one job and the high school they went to 20 years ago or something. It's just hard to build momentum if you have nothing on there. Like we know the system works, but it's hard to get traction and become viral if you've never done anything before. So that's something that we really realized is there's different systems that work for different people, and that system doesn't necessarily work that well if you haven't been being consistent about it. So I've been personally encouraging everyone I know, like build a personal brand, put yourself out there. Like if you have a business or you want to start a business in the future, like it's only going to help you.
Right, 100%. Something that I'm working on, and I'm really grateful to be on the podcast. Whatever content comes from this as well, for this reason, it's a
Mhm.
very big focus of mine in 2026.
Definitely. Wow, I'm really excited about that. Just to wrap things up here, what advice do you have for other people that want to start a business, want to start a community event series, or anything like that?
I'd say get in proximity to the people that have what it is that you have. Like that's been the number one thing. If we could sum up everything that we discussed here, when it comes to content, if you want to get better at content, you got to find people who are good and surround yourself with them. When it comes to community, you got to go be involved in communities as well to even understand what community means. And I feel like that's the best thing that I've been able to do in my journey is like I'm a natural networker. I just find where people hang out. I go somehow find my way in that door and I'll meet people and I build a relationship and I'll say yes to whatever the next opportunity is. And it's worked to get me this far.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for joining me here. And for everyone else, please tune into the next episode of the Breakthrough Blueprint.
Thank you, Mel.